All right, let's get a quick check on the crypto market now. It's getting into fear at this point. If you're looking at the fear greed index, that's on alternative.me. But Bitcoin, there, big drops we're seeing so far with Ethereum. Still holding on to the $4,000 level, 2.47% down. But let's look at how investors are feeling in the market. Are they afraid at this point? Yes, fear. Fear is setting at 44 points over 100. Looking at the fear greed index, and we know how investors, some investors use the fear greed index of time their entry and exit out of the market as born. Well, let's bring in Seun Dania now, the CEO of Alpha Gig Tech. Hello, Seun. Great to have you.
Hi. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Seun. So yes, it's happening at this point after touching $124,000 for a hot minute. Bitcoin is at 113,000. What's going on?
Definitely, we've seen over the time that whenever Bitcoin hits its all-time high, people will take profits. So that's essentially what happened at the point when Bitcoin hit 124, 25K. And evidently, because of the trajectory, a lot of people who were also trading futures would have gone long a long time from as low as possible. So evidently, the people on the other end will need to liquidate those longs before they can go up, continue the upward trend.
All right. Do you think $100,000 will hold, at this point with the rate of drop we're seeing?
Evidently. So if we look at the charts, we're seeing more of an uptrend. However, if there's a downtrend and it breaks 112K, 110K, we're probably going to be going towards the levels, maybe 107, but definitely not 100K, because we've seen a lot of institutional interest, the ETFs, and a lot of banks are already, traditional finance institutions are also coming into Bitcoin, as we've seen all over the place. So definitely 100K, 110K is a good entry point for most people. See that a lot of money sitting down on those parts. So definitely it's a bounce back.
Right. I'm talking about, banks coming in. U.S. Bank, there's Sophie Technologies. They've taken a bold step into the future, partnering with Lightspark to integrate Bitcoin Lightning Network and universal money address. So I guess the technology, banks are really exploring it at this point. How are you seeing that?
It's a positive step in the right direction. Let's remember that Bitcoin Lightning Networks, it helps people do the transact in Bitcoin as little fractions as possible. But one of the major challenges for Bitcoin globally, and since the inception, has been the cost of transferring Bitcoin or trading with Bitcoin or running your everyday business on Bitcoin. And that's what the Lightning Network is supposed to solve. However, the Bitcoin maxis are not very, very pro Lightning Network because they feel it's against the fundamentals of Bitcoin. But let's see how it goes. But for general adoption, of course, Bitcoin maxis are not pro anything else besides Bitcoin. They don't even support USDT stablecoins or any of those things. So evidently, but for global adoption, Lightning Network and the banks integrating it will help people to not just always have to use stablecoins, but they can always keep their funds in Bitcoin, carry out transactions, receive payments, issue invoices, and all those things. And definitely, it's a step in the right direction.
I guess that's why we call them the Bitcoin maxis. At this point, they're not moved. But thank you so much, Seun Dania, for bringing us up to speed on what's playing on the crypto market. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me, Ladi. Have a great day.